Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai. All praises, Adam, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone who taught us his truth and who rule well. Peace and love, salutations and mercy be unto you, Akim, that are hazarding your lives to magnify and praise the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, to help edify and build up the hopeful elect by way of prophesying and teaching his truth and heralding in the second coming of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, who's coming to bring the kingdom, and the kingdom is not at hand. It's his kingdom first, and then it's the kingdom of Israel, but beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel. And for the rest of you believers, or to the rest of you believers that are waiting, patiently for these last and final prophecies to happen in the earth, you Akim and few Aquatium, and that are waiting for Yahweh Shai, Lord and Savior, to return and to redeem, the elect of the nation of Israel, to bring down this devil, all right, this hypocrite, this madman that is ruling over the earth. A peace be unto you in Shalom. Now I was watching this TV series, which is called, bear with me, Baba Kasha, as I pull up the name of it, and I always forget the name of it. But what is it called? It's called Sorry to Bother You, and it's on Netflix. And it's trippy, but there's a lot of hidden messages in it. For the most part, Esau's working you like a horse. All right. And you have that analogy or that phrase, working you like a horse.
According to Wiktionary, to work very hard, toil.
And for the most part, that's how, we are, working, these different jobs and things like that. But for the most part, what they wanted to do within this series is replace, regular workers with hybrid workers, And I'm not going to, give too many more details on it just for the sake of those that may want to go and watch it, not to spoil it too much for you. And you will see what I'm talking about once you go to it. But there was a particular point when, a guy that is credited within the movie for being like a Steve Jobs kind of dude, who's over this major corporation, who has this innovative idea, to replace a particular people that are working with something else. I'm not going to say what the something else is. And keep in mind that this is a trippy as a TV show, but there's a lot of hidden, messages in it. And when he was trying to recruit this one individual, he was trying to recruit him, which basically he was like a telemarketer, but he got promoted because he became good at doing his job by way of being a coon. And you'll know what I mean by saying that he was being a coon. All right, so he got elevated, and he got to the point where the Steve Jobs kind of dude was willing to pay him $100 million if he would become an agent for the cause. All right. And he called him, or said that he would be like a Episapien Martin Luther King Jr., which shows you that these people know some truth. All right. Because Martin Luther King was set up to be a plant, which there was a lot of uprising and riotous. He said that eventually when these people are set up, that they'll, come together, they'll form their own unions. They might want to be create an uprising. They might want to, get mad or rise up against them. So he said that they'll like to be ahead of that by way of having their own on the inside, like a Martin Luther King figure. So that shows you that they know, all right, that they know and that they set up individuals like Martin Luther King. All right, which you have individuals like J. Edgar Hoover, who said that there will never be another Messiah unless we create one. And you have Jacob Mortimer Red Shield, which you should know who the Red Shields are. But he said that and this is his description of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, as a spokesman who, like a prophet of ancient Israel, had fearlessly confronted the society of his day with its failures, had sought to rouse men to a vision of their own nobility, and who has earned his place as a moral leader of our social revolution. So this was said on November 20th, 1963 by one of the Red Shields. And there's actual pictures of him taking a picture with the Red Shields. All right, him and his wife, and I believe a Red Shield and his wife, which shows you, because ain't no regular person. You don't see regular people just taking pictures with the Red Shields. They're not like a A-list Hollywood celebrity that's just out there and that's willing to be everybody's favorite celebrity and just taking pictures with random people. You got to be juiced in to be able to take a picture. And that's how you know that MLK was a controlled opposition. And what is a controlled opposition? Is a protest movement that is actually being led by government agents. All right, so he was a plant. He was a cult of personality, if you will. All right, that was behind a controlled opposition, but for the rich elite banking families, because they saw that these niggas was getting stirred up, that they were ready to uprise against them, that they were ready to be seditionists, and really. Once Jake get to that point where they're roused up, it ain't nothing that Esau gonna be able to do. It's gonna be a lot of Edomites that get taken out, and then they're gonna send in their troops. They're gonna take out a lot of Jakes, you know. But for the most part, the scriptures say, "Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart." So Jake was getting mad. They were getting stirred up around this time of the 60s. So there was a lot of riots and there was a lot of uproars. And basically what they did was they set up individuals like MLK, all right, the FBI and the CIA, all right, these government agencies as a plant, all right, hoping that people will flock to this plant so that they can be rocked back to sleep. All right, they drunk of the wine. And what did that wine do? That wine put them back to sleep. So what did they do? All right, there were certain things that MLK was asking for. There were certain, and they tried to make it seem like they didn't want to give it to him, but they turned around and give it to him anyway. So they got equal housing, equal job opportunities. I forgot what that's called. It's called where they gotta hire somebody that's of a so-called minority group. All right, it's called affirmative action. All right, you got to live in their neighborhoods, and what was the result of that? Now you got broken up families. Now you got feminism. Now you got the I want to say the word, you know, it's spelt the same way that Nike is spelt, but instead of an N, a D. All right, you got those that are ruling over households. All right, that are ruling, you know, pretty much our people and set up in certain positions. All right, our people are through following MLK, but this was all the agenda of Esau Edom. All right, so that he can rock and put you Israelites back to sleep. Now, Martin Luther King, spoke about having, a dream, and his dream and his vision that he was so-called speaking about, all right, as a false prophet was a unionization, or joining together of Edomites and Israelites, which is far from the truth when you read the scriptures. So there's no way that he could truly be like one of the true prophets of the Bible. If he was compared to a prophet in the Bible, it would be a false prophet, according to the scriptures. Now, Deuteronomy 13:1, it says, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, wherefore he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your power proveth you to know whether ye love Yahweh your power with all your heart and all your soul, and with all your soul, and ye shall walk after Yahweh your power, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him, and cleave unto him. And the prophet and the dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he have spoken to turn away from Yahweh your power, turn you away from Yahweh your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, and thrust thee out of the way which Yahweh thy power commanded thee to walk in, so shalt thou put evil away from the midst of thee. So what happened to him was judgment from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And the same people, that he thought to sell his nation out to, all right, with the same ones that carried out that judgment on him, which shows you that you cannot trust the serpent. All right, the scripture says, who will pity, a person that is bitten by a serpent? Who will pity a charmer that is bitten by the serpent? Jeremiah the 23rd chapter, verse 25. I have heard what the prophet said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. And what was his famous speech? His famous speech was the I have a dream speech. How long shall this be in that heart of the prophets that prophesy lies, saying to the prophets of the deceit of their own heart? So that was a deceit of his own heart, even though that message was plagiarized anyway. Which things to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which tell every man to his neighbor, as the fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. And that's one of the things that happened. A lot of our people seeking that American dream, or that promise that was promised unto them by King, in that I have a dream, which was a false dream. All right, look at how they have been eaten up by this system, or by this country, because they left, Yahweh for Baal, which is Satan. All right, the god of the Baal Barith, the god of the community. All right, it says the people that have Salaki, the prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, said Yahweh? Which the chaff is the husk, or the hard part that's surrounding the wheat, or for the most part, any one of the cereal grains, that grow, up out of the ground. You got the husk, that surrounds the wheat, but is separated, when it's beaten, or is putting through that rigorous, strain, then basically it's separated. So now you take the husk and you throw it away, or you burn it, and then you take the wheat, and the wheat is eaten and is consumed. All right, so those that are in their right mind, they'll be able to tell, the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai from the words of the false prophet, if Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is dealing with them. So those false lies and all of that is nothing in comparison to the truth of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Reading on, it says, "Is not my word like a fire, said Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaketh the rocks in pieces?" And it's through the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that we're speaking, that's breaking down the strongholds, that's pulling down the strongholds, of these lies that are being built up. "Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that steal my word, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that use their tongues to say he saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, said Yahweh, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies." See? So that's what he did. He caused the people to err by his lies and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, said Yahweh. So what profit was it to have individuals like MLK set up? None, because all it did was leave you in a worse state than what you were prior to ever following an individual like that, or by them being set up. Now, reading on, because you're gonna have situations like this. Again, what you had the one guy, what is his name? That was of the NFA, or the not fucking around group, which you don't see him anymore because he came and he went, but he was set up as well. All right, which I can see his face in my mind, but I can't quote his name. And that's how irrelevant he is, but they'll set up people like him. And just recently you had the individual, that was an agent that supposedly carried out that false thing that happened in New York, all right, in the subway. All right, Master J, that was the individual's name. But then you're gonna have many others like them. And all these are just spies, they're agents, that fiend themselves just men, and people flocking to them because they have a personality, that people like, or they have this form of godliness about themselves when they seem like they're right, but really they're not. The book of Luke 20:20. "And they watch him and sent for spies, which shall fiend themselves just men, that they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and the authority of the governor." Because ultimately, that's what the reason that individuals like this come around, because they're set up by agents, they're set up by government entities to become an infiltrator, to sneak in, to weasel themselves in, to creep in, and eventually lead that whole organization into, doing something that's awful wrong, or doing something that can blame them. So ultimately they would have a justified reason of coming against them, or coming in and which you'll be able to know those individuals, because they'll be doing things that are off. Like, no, that's not our way. That's not our motives. That's not what we're about. But they're trying to influence you to do certain things that's going to cause you to be blamed, or taking information and taking it back to them, which all of the things that we speak on YouTube anyway. We ain't trying to hide nothing, but ultimately Esau wants to drag us through the mud. All right. He wants to defame us. So he's going to send forth individuals like this, or he's going to create, his own thing. And for case in point, the Black Lives Matter, the BLM. All right, that whole thing is set up through basically it's a controlled opposition. All right, it's not something that is sincere. All right, it's something that was feigned. And basically what they do is they go out to these different rallies and things like that, and they basically do things that cause Jake as a whole to be blamed. And the majority of people that you see at these rallies that are supporting the BLM movement, all right, for the most part, it's not a bunch of Jakes. It's a bunch of Edomites that are dressed in black. But ultimately, the blame go towards so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So just giving an example, but when these personalities or these people are set up, people flock to them. Why? Like it says in 2 Timothy 3:5, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Now it reads in the New Living Translation, they will act religious, but will reject the power that could make them godly. So for the most part, they're just acting, but they have this personality that people gravitate to. So people will gravitate to people like MLK or these other charismatic individuals that are set up, but that are set up to lead Jake down the place that's gonna get them to destroy it. But the true, power that could have them walking godly in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they reject that. So it says stay away from people like that, because you have men that are in this truth that are the same way. Individuals that are part of these other camps, and they seem as if they're godly. They seem as if, but when you look at the things that they're doing, it got agent written all over it. Going to the book of Titus 1:11, it says, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things that they ought not to teach for filthy lucre's sake. Because ultimately, if it's to gain from the people that are actually, being deceived by them, or if it's by, an agent, or entity that's commanding them to do certain things to deceive the people. All right, they're doing it for filthy lucre's sake. Now, also reading this in the NLT, it says they must be silent because they are turning whole families away from the truth by their false teaching, and they do not do it only for money. So you got certain individuals that are sell out for money. But what does it say in the book of Matthew 16:26? For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Speaking in regards to these sellouts, that are not only selling themselves out, but they're selling out their whole nation as well, such as Martin Luther King or any other individual that are set up. Because I'm guaranteed that he received some money. So just like this individual within this TV series, Sorry to Bother You, on Netflix, all right, he was about to be paid $100 million. Which $100 million, that ain't nothing but change, to the rich elites. That ain't nothing but pocket change. So you have individuals which come from nothing. They make sure that they pick people that came from nothing, that don't want to go back to that nothing that they came from. So they'll willingly sell out in order to obtain those things. And this is the reason why the scripture saying in the book of 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So not money, but the love of money is the root of all evil, which some have coveted after they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with sorrows. And not knowing that after Esau has used your ass up, and after he has gotten what he wanted from you, that he's going to take you out too. The book of Sirach 13:6, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope and speak thee fair and say, what warnest thou? And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterwards. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. And for the most part, he'll take your ass out. So with that, this was just an observation that I made watching that TV series. But this is based off of true things that actually happen. How they set up control oppositions, or how they set up cult of personalities, or they send for spies, so that they can create a movement or infiltrate a movement and take it over, all right, and to dead it, for their purpose. So with that, I truly hope that this lesson was edifying. Our praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, peace and love, salutations and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. A shalom and a bad babal. Kwam Bakiyam. Shalom.